Hello, Trump Take 5 here. Are you wondering what Donald Trump was up to yesterday? Well, good news, you're in the right place, because we're the channel who tries to give you everything important that happened in Donald Trump's day in a 5-minute video or less, so that you can avoid the 24-hour media circus that surrounds the president, stay informed at the same time, and avoid Trump fatigue from all the insanity. President Trump started out setting the tone pretty quickly yesterday. In anticipation of meeting with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, he threw out a tweet saying, "Meeting with Chuck and Nancy today about keeping government open and working. Problem is, they want illegal immigrants flooding into our country unchecked, are weak on crime, and want to substantially raise taxes. I don't see a deal." On the one hand, you could say, well, this is something that sort of makes sense because he got such negative feedback from his base the last time he met with these two. But it's not a good way to start off a negotiation, and Schumer and Pelosi decided not to come. One of the things that stood out to me, though, was when I was reading about this, none of the news organizations pointed out the fact that this is actually not factual. Like, these aren't things that are real that he's talking about. They're just rhetoric aimed at his base to get them fired up. Nobody wants illegal immigrants flooding into our country unchecked. That's just not a position that anyone holds. There's nothing to back up the claim that these two are weak on crime, and him saying that they substantially want to raise taxes is just made up. It's just completely fabricated. What the Republicans are trying to do at this time is they're trying to cut taxes for corporations and the ultra-wealthy, adding $1.5 trillion to the deficit. That has nothing to do with raising taxes. So if you just don't cut taxes, you don't add $1.5 trillion to the deficit. Speaking of that, the Senate's version of the tax bill, the tax reform bill as they like to call it, moved forward. There was some question if Bob Corker and Ron Johnson in the Senate Budget Committee would vote against it, but all the Republicans, including those two, voted for it. This opens up things so that it can go to the Senate floor for a vote. Now, there are some Republicans who haven't signed off saying they would vote yes on it. There's a couple Democrats who might vote for it. So this isn't really that surprising because moving it through the Budget Committee is not the same as passing it. I mentioned Bob Corker here. He is against the idea of adding to the deficit more than $1.5 trillion. And he says that he has a plan for triggers that would bring the taxes back in cases where that deficit was going over $1.5 trillion of its projection. That doesn't really reassure me. I'm going to say I'm skeptical, but at the same time, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like. So I'll wait until we learn more to go into that on a deeper level. To circle back, though, after Pelosi and Schumer canceled their trip to the White House, Donald Trump gave a press conference where he sat between two empty chairs with their name tags there. It was just political theater, and I think it backfired on most levels. He looked really foolish. He gave one of those incoherent rabble kind of things that we're getting more and more used to, and just reinforced the points that he had put in the initial tweet. Bottom line that I took away from it was that he was saying that they were all talk and no action, and that now they're not even talk. The reason they were supposed to meet with the president was because they're having trouble reaching a continuing resolution for the budget. There's always seeming to be a looming government shutdown. The last time we had one of those, though, was in 2013. If you've forgotten, you can remember how many times it's been looming since then. That was over the Affordable Care Act. Republicans refused to move forward with that, and the government shut down for about 2 weeks. Before that, the last time it was shut down was in 95, 96. I've become a little bit cautious about getting excited about a looming government shutdown, but I'll keep an eye on it to see if this is really going to happen. I mentioned Project Veritas in yesterday's video and their scheme to try to discredit the Washington Post by floating them a fake story and how that backfired. It came out yesterday that President Trump had donated $10,000 from his charity, Project Veritas, in 2015. President Trump was also tweeting about North Korea once again. They fired off a ballistic missile for the first time in 2 months. So he tweeted out that it's more important than ever to fund our government and military. And then after that, he went even further because he tagged Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity in the tweet. I'm going to guess that they were talking about it. You'll never guess what? Hillary's emails. So they're obviously running point for the president here. They're trying to bring up more alleged scandals on the other side to take away from what's going on with the president. But what's shocking to me about this, and I mean, there's very little that's shocking now. He says, why aren't our deep state authorities looking at this? Rigged and corrupt. Him using the word deep state here is really a strong signal to the conspiracy crowd. And I feel like there's going to be more of this stuff coming out. So we need to keep an eye on it. He's trying to rile up a particular type of person here with this. And he may just be opening up a door that he can't get closed once he does that. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. That's it for yesterday. I started off late today, and I have seen that he's already starting off in a hurry this morning. So make sure you check back tomorrow for the rundown of that. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell there so that you'll get notifications when a new video is uploaded. Like our Facebook page, follow our Twitter or Instagram, and come on back tomorrow because I'll be talking to you again.